engine's an absolute blast. Let's do a drive-by out there, 5th gear. That's probably the best part about riding it. Probably one of my favorite parts about riding an XR600 is riding it at night. The headlight's really bright on it, and it's nice and quiet with a stock pipe on it, so you can pretty much go anywhere with it. Just a fantastic bike. This is a beautiful 1991 Honda XR600R. This is a bike that won the Baja over 12 years in a row consecutively. Just a lot of fun to ride. It's a 600cc single cylinder 4-stroke. It's got mountains of torque, so the thing will ride wheelies. You know, if you want to do massive 5-gear wheelies, this is the bike for you. You don't see too many of these around anymore in this kind of shape, especially ones that have titles. This bike right here, we just put over $2,500 into this bike, restoring it. We did a in-frame overhaul on it. Over 20 hours of labor went into the bike, and it runs great. It's a lot of fun to ride, absolute blast. I actually have the title to it right here. I want to show you. This is the 1991 XR600R title. Good, clean, used motorcycle. Very, very rare to find like this. It's a one-owner bike. He purchased this bike or registered it on December of 1991. So he's had the bike over 25 years before he sold it to us. So you can see here he purchased it July 31st of 1991, and he got the title in December. So he was born in '62. That makes him, what, 56, 57 years old. So he's had the bike since it was new. So it's a one-owner motorcycle. Hasn't been passed around. This guy had a few different enduro bikes. He was really into enduro bikes, and this one was his pride and joy. He kept it stored inside and rode it, but took pretty good care of it, as you can see. So we went right through the bike, and first thing we did is took all the plastics off of it, steam cleaned it from front to back. We painted the frame and cleaned up the wheels, serviced the brakes. We put a brand new chain on it, put new tag metal handlebars on there, tag metals handlebars on it, aluminum handlebar. It's got brand new Ori grips on it. It's got a new brake lever, has a Sunline clutch lever, and it has the original speedometer in good condition. As you can see, the headlight and tail light work beautifully. A lot of fun to ride it at night. We put a newer style super motard front fender on it. Put the black number plate backings on there with the number ones. The side covers were plastic dipped with the new HRC logos. We put new graphics on it, put a new seat cover on it. It's got the aftermarket pull strap on the back here to pull it out of the dirt if you ever get stuck in the mud. It has a service rear fender with the license plate mount on here. So it has a stock original exhaust, which is really rare to find on a motorcycle of this vintage. So it was never modified or abused. A lot of fun to ride on the street. 5-speed transmission, tons of torque. Lift the front wheel at ease, just crack the throttle, the front end comes right up on this thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful motorcycle. The spark plug was replaced on it. We adjusted the valves on it. We changed the oil on it. We put a new air filter in it. We cleaned the gas tank out on it, cleaned the carburetor on it, adjusted the carburetor, put a new air filter in it, so the whole fuel system's been cleaned out, the oil's been changed. The throttle was lubricated and cleaned with new grips. All the cables were lubricated. The clutch cable was lubed. The clutch cable was like butter on it. The decompression lever was adjusted and the cable was lubed. The exhaust system was sanded and painted. So the exhaust system was beautiful. We touched up painted the side of the engine. The pegs were painted, the levers were painted, the frame was painted, the frame guards were cleaned up. So it's a beautiful looking bike. I mean, it looks like a new bike. You know, for a 1991 on off-road bike, to find it like in this shape is really, really rare. The front rim is the original rim, and you can see there's no deformities to the rim, so it wasn't like it was abused off-road or anything like that. The original rear rim's in nice shape. The frame rails on the bottom have some dings in them, as you'd expect on an off-road bike, but nothing that affects the structural integrity. It's just cosmetic dings on the frame. We didn't notice any cracks on the frame. Appears to be all original. The engine's super strong, sounds good, doesn't make any funny noises or vibrations, so rare to find. Good running, clean, restored 91 XR600 from an original one-owner bike with a title. Something that doesn't come up very often. Like Honda's Baja 1000 race-winning XR500, the 600 featured recalibrated, longer travel suspension, a new frame, and a stout square down tube and aluminum swing arm. It has an easy to access, no tools required airbox cover, and the 160 watt generating system was also a direct Baja influence. An innovative electronic endurometer widened the XR600's appeal as it provided accurate tracking and distance. Trail riders as well as enduro racers found it useful and nothing else very cool. The remarkable XR600R made headlines throughout its long model life. It first won its first Baja 1000 in 1986 and it won by 45 minutes, thanks to riders Bruce Miller and Bruce Oakley, both current and longtime Honda employees. In all, the XR600 would win the Baja 1000 4 times, the Baja 500 3 times, the Nevada Valley once, the Barstow to Vegas once, and more desert races than you can count. It's also amazingly versatile. Scott Summers built his reputation by winning 9 AMA national championships contested in the woods on XR600s. That's a 9-time champion. Summers also won 3 gold medals in the International 6 Days Enduro, the Olympics of motorcycling, against the best enduro racers from every nation on their own ground. Throughout the years, the XR600 was campaigned in motocross and dirt track races as well. Yet throughout its design evolution, it never went far from its original concept. A single 40mm carburetor, stainless steel head pipes, an automatic decompression system made starting the bike easy. 43mm CR style cartridge forks and a revolve shock improved suspension response. Honda also makes an optional power-up kit, which is available through the aftermarket also, which is basically a pipe and an intake, which increases power by 25%. And they also offer a big bore kit and a few other changes. The XR600 also received a disc rear brake to complement the front disc it used from the start. So it's a fantastic bike. I had one of these maybe 10 years ago. Mine had an Al Baker 680 big bore kit on it and a big flat side carb and a super trap exhaust, and it was street legal. And it was an absolute hoot. I had so much fun on that bike. Just a blast to ride. I pretty much rode that thing everywhere. I used it as my transportation. So what a fantastic bike. There's so much hop-up capability in these motors. This one's bone stock and it's totally under stress. It's a low compression engine that was designed to run in Baja on the crummy gas that's sometimes available in Mexico. But they weren't, being supported by a race team. They were using pump gas. So it's one of the reasons the low compression motor. 591 cc's. Again, 9:1 compression ratio, air cooled, so you don't have to worry about any radiators or anything. Solid state ignition, no points. It's rated at 46 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, which is plenty of power for riding wheelies all the way up the street, highway speeds. 5-speed transmission, 43mm air adjustable leading axle, shallow cartridge forks with 8-position compression damping, adjustability. Shallow shock in the rear, 11 inches of travel in the rear, 11.6 in the front, big 18-inch rear tire, Just had all the right ingredients, perfect storm for a Baja winning machine. And how many motorcycles can you name that won the Baja 1000 spanning a 12-year period? None. Not to mention 9 off-road championships under the Scott Summers riding it in major off-road race events worldwide. Only one motorcycle makes that cut. It's the legendary, mighty XR600R. The XR600R introduced a number of key features, not the least of which centered on its engine, a power plant that produced lots of low-end grunt and torque, as well as class-leading top-end horsepower, all spread over an easy-to-ride, seemingly limitless range. It retained the 500 single overhead cam RFBC radial 4-valve combustion chamber head for maximum valve area, and the XR was fed by twin 28mm Keihin carbs, which was eventually replaced in this 1991 model with a single carburetor, which is easier to tune. Spent gases exited through a new, longer, it's a twin head pipe. So you've got a single carb going into a 4-valve head with 2 exhaust pipes and a massive, the piston on the 600 is massive. It's the size of a coffee can. It's a huge piston. So the 600 obviously didn't need as much compression to gain extra torque, which enabled it to run on lower octane fuel. And the larger redesigned valves opened and tapered in the ports to add mid-range punch. So this engine is an evolution from a design that was originally made in '79. So over a 22-year period, they've constantly evolved it, and the final product was something that was bulletproof, that could race 24 hours straight down the Baja 1000 at race speeds and not be affected by it. It's just an absolutely bulletproof package. This is a classic. There's a cult following behind these bikes now. If you have any questions about this one, give us a call, 860-454-7024, or come by and see the bike. We're here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. One thing, there's a tab that holds on the ignition cover that holds the clutch lever on, and that tab had broken off, so they JB welded it back on, the cable on, but and it works fine. I probably never have an issue with it, but that is a part that's readily available. The ignition cover right here online for under 150 bucks. So if that's something you want to have replaced, we can do it for you. If you get the part, we'll change it for you. Or if you want to do it yourself, or just run it like it is. So, but I wanted to point that out. That's the only issue I noticed on the bike. But I love it. It's a lot of fun to ride. It's got a brand new chain on it, good tires on it. It's ready to rock and roll. We have the title. You won't have any problems registering it in your state, and you've got yourself the coolest street legal XR600 you're going to find. So good luck bidding on the bike. God bless America.